Ooh. Hey, Mr. Duck. Hey there, Mr. Falcon. Oh, he's sitting right there on the line there. You can see him. Yep, I got my farm animals here. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here at Grow Moringa Farms, a nursery in Plant City. Got our beautiful turmerics. Yes. I think he lives right up there in the pine trees. But it's been a beautiful recovery since Hurricane Ian. Mr. Duck's following me. He's gonna come on with us. Come on, Mr. Duck. Coming over? He stays over in the pond right over there. Was able to finally get the grass cut back. It took me a couple days. Still missing a few pieces, but at least now I can walk through the cuttings area. This is kind of like our hedgerow condition, where the trees are, about a foot, 2 feet apart. They're real close and mostly from stick. You can see a lot of sticks in here, hundreds of sticks that we just kind of stuck in on these mounds, and creating rays of sunshine radiating out from the oak tree. Wow, some of these cuttings are really getting big. So the reason why I'm filming here today is because I want to get all of these trees cut back. So I'm going to bring everything real short. So I wanted to do a little documentation of what it looks like now. This has been about 3 weeks since Ian. And look at this. So this is falling over. I actually, a few years ago, I did like a trellis with moringa trees over top, and they start growing vertical like this. And then you can start trimming them from here, and then this will stay bent over, and then you can have a whole canopy of greens just from how these are growing up. Beautiful. We got some turmerics back there too. We planted out. It's been a very productive and busy year so far. Wow, I can't believe we're coming into the 11th month, the 11th hour, the 11th day. So on 11/11/22 here, coming up in a few weeks, we're going to be doing an online video conference that consists of over 31 hours, 31 webinars, different Q&As, demonstrations, workshops, so that way you can learn anything and everything that there is to know about how to grow moringa commercially or even just in your own backyard. What I'm doing here is creating a raised bed of plants here on this end cap. And I can explain more to you about how to develop your moringa sanctuary and farm at MoringaCon, which will be held 11/11/22. Tickets are now on sale. They're 50% off in the description. You can actually get tickets in the description. And it'll consist of 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, of online conference over 31 hours. We'll start Friday at 1 p.m. and we're going to like 9. Saturday, we're starting at like 9 a.m. and we're going all the way to 9. And then Sunday, we're also starting at like 9 a.m. and we're going all the way to like 7 Eastern time. And then if you get tickets, you also have access to all the recordings. So you won't be limited to just watching it then and there. So if you get tickets now, you'll also have access to all of the recordings. Oh, there we go, but it's like right in my face. Trying to get like a nice shady spot, but it's beautiful out here, and I want you guys to see pre-harvest, and I wanted you to learn anything and everything that there is to know about moringa and what we've been able to do here on this property in just 3 years. This is an example of 3 years later and how we did it, starting from plastic. There was plastic on the ground. This was all plant nursery. I worked here 7-8 years ago, and I was a nursery hand here in this field. There were thousands of plants in pots, mostly natives, Walters viburnum, Simpson stoppers, lots of grasses, lantanas, and all kinds of flowers and things that we would do for the state fair and the state festival. So we did a lot of that here, and we generated, sometimes trucks would come down here with $20,000 checks, and we'd load them up here and they'd go on their way. And I learned how to kind of flip plants at that time. And they asked me if I was to get my nursery started, what would be my top 5 plants? And I said, Moringa would be my first one. And they had 80 Moringa trees back here that they had left over from a sale, and they gave them to me for the day's work. And I started planting those 80 Moringa trees around the Tampa Bay area, and I started a co-op. From that co-op, it developed into this collective now, this worldwide collective of growers that are all participating, sharing, and growing Moringa together, learning, educating, and that's what the Grow Moringa Collective is. If you want to get membership to the collective, it includes tickets to MoringaCon. So you could either just get membership at any level, monthly, yearly, or even lifetime, and you'll have full access tickets to MoringaCon, or also just get tickets to MoringaCon and you'll have over 31 hours worth of content, worth of demos. We're going to teach people how to harvest, dry, powder, capsulate, sell. And it's an important skill to have. I believe it's the #1 skill and only skill really needed in today's world, is to learn how to sell. I learned that in architecture school. I was having to sell my ideas and my buildings to the city or the municipality or to the competition that I was submitting myself to. And I learned I need to actually go back to the drawing board and learn how to sell. If I ever want to become a successful architect, sell. But before selling buildings and before selling my ideas, can I sell something that I am passionate about, that I love, that I can use every day? Well, yes. And I found out that it was this Moringa tree. And I have been selling this Moringa tree and growing this Moringa tree, this miracle tree, for now, I think since 2015, 14, 15. So about 7-8 years since that moment that they gifted me with 80 trees here. As now, I sit on my Moringa throne, beautiful, here in my beautiful Moringa food forest. Just a few years later, and I want everybody to know that you can also achieve financial freedom and success and food security by growing this miraculous Moringa tree. So let's take a quick tour of the field. This is my orchard here. You can see I actually saved lots of big trees from peril because they were in need of being moved, or the owners were moving, or it no longer fit the space. I planted this tree 7 years ago from seed at my buddy's house in his backyard, and he ended up having to sell the place. So I grabbed a lot of the big trees that you see on the caps here, like this one, oh, and this big one over here, from that location. A lot of other trees, like a couple of the big trees out here, actually I got back from selling them to people. They got too big, or they changed their idea, and they like, hey, can you go ahead and just take these trees back? And absolutely. So look at this tree was already huge, right? And I cut it back to get it here, and then now look, it's only been a couple months, maybe 2 months since the summertime, and it's already, you know, just way up there. That one stretch of a branch came back from this node right here. So what I'm going to do is, looks like some of the branches, you know, are still hanging out since the hurricane. It was pretty violent, you know, here. But we've been building out our end caps. We got our end caps in here, pineapples. We're going to start bringing in our pollinator plants. And this orchard will be a syntropic farming permaculture system, as natural as possible. I have no irrigation out here. Everything was built up off of 2 feet of oak mulch chips. So that was the first year that I lived here, and I bought this place doing a rent to own from the owners, from the guys that I worked for. And I dropped hundreds and hundreds of loads of oak chips just right here on the surface of the soil. Of course, I removed the plastic, right? I was telling you that this was all plastic. First, it took me months to remove all of this plastic all the way down. I got the plastic removed from the front all the way to the fourth row. So now we have 4 full rows, almost full. I have to take them back a little bit further. but you can see we've developed it to where there's 12 feet in between for the roadways, right? 12-foot wide roadways and 12-foot wide raised beds. So all the oak mulch chips were dropped over time. And then eventually I had this just shoveled out. I shoveled this out so that way I built up these beds along the edge here. And now we have a high raised bed, 12 feet wide, with a double staggered row of trees, orchard style trees here. Look at our big line of trees here. These babies have gotten big, right? Doing really well here. I'm gonna take this line all the way back. I brought this up, dug that out, put that up, raised that up, and so now we're up on a higher ground, and I gotta take that all the way back. But we have every 10 feet, so on the mound, we have 2 rows of trees, orchard style trees. So this is an orchard tree here, and then 10 feet down, we have another orchard tree here. But what we did, very cool, in the middle of the summer, was planted a line of seeds down the middle. So here's our orchard tree here, right? And then we've got our line of trees in the middle, and these all sprouted from seed. So this baby right here is from seed just a few months ago, right? Just a few months ago, that seed. That's maybe a 4-month-old tree. Our turmerics are as tall as me. Yeah, we out here in the jungle. And then we continue to go back to our orchard where we have it established back here. I actually haven't made it to cut the grass over here just yet, but you can see there's no trees in the middle here. I didn't put anything in the middle in this one yet, but all of these trees that you see are the orchard trees, and they're 10 feet apart. And look, they're starting to touch. These trees are 10 feet apart, and they're starting to actually touch each other. How amazing. Wow, this is my first time coming back here in a couple days. And oh, hey, Samson. Samson's here. We got ourselves a kitten grove, as well as our Moringa grove. Oops. Don't want to get the camera wet. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll get all these cut back, get them placed, back upright. But how amazing to see them 10 feet apart. And then so on a stagger, there's a stagger to it. So there's 2 rows of trees, 2 rows of orchard trees. This is a row of trees here that actually we planted seed all in the middle. So like this tree that's fallen over here, this is just a line, a tree in the line. This is the orchard tree, and this is another orchard tree that I have to put back upright. They're just getting so big. They're getting top heavy. And what I'll do is I'll get them cut back, and that'll help them put more roots back down into the system. Look at this beautiful orchard. Who would have thought? Just 3 years later. So year 1 was just oak mulch. Year 2 was laying out the design, making the raised beds, putting the sticks in the ground, getting the designated location. Every single one of these trees, actually, because they're on the mound, what we did was we dug a hole and filled that with composted soil. That composted soil will then permeate out into the oak mulch, and also the soil will also raise up because of earthworms and things like that, to where then this whole area ends up becoming just good composted soil. So every hole, every location of an orchard tree, we just dug a hole and put composted soil in there. So that way it wasn't just straight oak mulch. This line is just cuttings. So this is a whole line of just cuttings all the way down. So we have the orchard style trees every 10 feet apart. You can see here's an orchard tree here. Here's an orchard tree here, another 10 feet apart. But then in the middle of this, we did sticks, right? Pretty cool. It kind of resembles some sort of like village or fence or something like that to keep the lions out, like this little lion right here. OJ. Hey, buddy. What's up, buddy boy? This is my boy OJ, the juice man. Hey, rise and shine. I'll get you some snacks here in a second. We'll finish up here. Just wanted to show you the beautiful progress of our Moringa food forest. This is the future site of our syntropic system, where we'll utilize grass as cuttings and clippings for nitrogen and phosphorus. And we'll also begin to build out each one of these beds a little bit more with pollinators, berries, small fruit trees, bushes, and we're going to interplant in between all of these moringa trees, little by little, sticks and cuttings and other plants that we find are beneficial to this system. And we'll definitely have like really nice built out end caps. At least the end caps will be full of pollinators. I really like this Vitex laurel, Vitex chaste tree. It's like an Asian purple flower. And then I really love this sweet almond. It's like a white flower. And I have both of them over here, and they're just fully covered in pollinators most of the day. You want to see the intensive beds that we're redeveloping now that we're coming to the end of one season, summer season. We got several kilos worth of greens just from our raised beds, because we planted thousands of seeds in here. And this is our raised bed system, intensive. So you saw the hedge has got the medium, the orchard is the far part, and this is our intensive system where everything is really close together. And these are our raised beds here. So we have a promenade of about 10 raised beds that go all the way down. I think actually 9 raised beds that go all the way down. At the cap of each raised bed, we have a moringa tree. And in the raised beds, we have hundreds of little trees that we've sprouted. You can see it's a little bit more clear here. We're gonna redevelop this raised bed, turn it up a little bit, put some more stuff in there. Same thing with this one. You can see nice raised bed, a little bit more clear because we have it, you know, a little perimeter around here from the banana trees that went down. And so these trees right here all grew up from seed. So like this is only a 4-month-old seed that we cut back. And we've also pulled out hundreds of trees from here, put them in pots, sold them. Some of them died, of course, because when you plant a lot of trees close together, they will, over time, sacrifice themselves for the bigger one to live. A lot of these ones pretty much I used up. There's nothing really left in this one. I just got everything cut back. A lot of them just ended up, because with the summer rains and hurricanes, turned into just weed piles. But it's cool. We'll put some plastic over here. We'll suppress all the weeds, and then we'll pull it back. It'll all be dead, and then we'll plant in it. So we've got a bunch of raised beds here. Some trees still made it, and we're going to be planting fruit trees on the end caps of each one of these raised beds, similar to what we did just right here. I think this is a mulberry. Yep, got the mulberry in here. She's coming back okay. And we got a avocado tree here. Kind of got a little bit burnt out, but I think she's gonna make it. I think she's gonna come back just fine. Yep. And we got a nice big row of trees here that we just cut back. These fell over. These all fell over, so we just got them put back upright and out here, and they'll start resprouting. Oh yeah, she's starting to resprout already. Just after a couple of days of getting all these trees cut back. You can see really took off a big chunk of this one because it was already kind of big and knobby and kind of dead. So to help increase the longevity of your trees, just cut back anything that's like dead. Your trees will go through cycles where they will never look the same every day. And I'm gonna get back inside. I'm working on my book right now. You guys may have heard about it. It's called Grow Moringa, The Ultimate Guide. It's about 500 pages, and I'm going through editing things. You can have access to the book, actually, just like everybody else in the members area. I'm writing it right now, and it's open source, so you can add to it, edit to it. There's different sections and chapters that you can read at your own pace. And there's tons of value in the members area to help you establish a sustainable food forest system that includes an intensive, a hedge, and an orchard, and that will increase your chances of resiliency, you know, over time as food shortages may occur, and also the state of the economy may be fluctuating very, very heavily here pretty soon. So get yourself some food growing, get yourself some moringa going. And please stop in to see us at growmoringa.com. We're going to be using all these sticks out here in the field, in the forest. I'd love to get a mulcher to mulch them, but for right now we'll probably just use them to build up raised beds. We're going to be planting out more banana trees and stuff, and really appreciate you for coming out and visiting us. Now, I did close the farm down just for a little while. As you might see, it's Saturday morning. Usually I have a bunch of people coming out here, but I need to focus on the book. So if you need to contact me, you can reach me at 813-567-3100. That is my number, and I am getting back to mostly all the text messages as much as I can, and answering any questions and helping anybody out along their moringa journey. So thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the Grow Moringa YouTube channel. Get your 50% off ticket to MoringaCon today in the description, or join us in the members area with full access to all the tools and everything that you would need to get your moringa tree operation growing. Peace, love, and prosperous growing. I'll see you soon. Ciao.